Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go? Everybody like, hey.
Alright, what is good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, the other day, specifically September 3rd, we got the early version release for Sonic Colors Ultimate, and I think it's about time that we talk a little bit about it. This time I'm gonna do it correctly. I'm about like a quarter to halfway through, maybe, so I thought I'd just give my thoughts on this remaster or port or whatever you want to call it so far. I just want to talk a little bit about it because I do happen to be enjoying myself, and unlike No More Heroes, I'm not beating this one in a day, so I thought I may as well give my halfway points and thoughts and things like that, and then once we do the full review, we'll see where things changed up a little bit. I'll probably be able to actually address this video once I'm actually fully finished with the game and doing things that I want to do with it. So, I just wanted to talk about that. Now, something that I feel like I should mention, I recognize that I did play this game when I was younger, but I don't think I ever finished it myself, because I don't remember truly finishing the game myself. I've seen the ending, and I've seen what, like, for the most part, what happens, but I don't even remember it all that well, because all I did was look it up, like, 8, 9, 10 years ago? I don't even know. It's been a very long time, so I don't remember everything about the game. So, if anything, I'd like to consider this my first true experience with Sonic Colors, because I'm actually going to remember a lot of what I'm doing this time around, as opposed to when I played it the quote-unquote first time back in the day. So I'm going to do my best to remember everything, and, you know, I'm enjoying myself. And, I'm going to actually see it through this time, for sure. Because that was not cheap. I mean, it's a little bit cheaper than it usually would be. $45 for the special edition and all this extra stuff. Beautiful. Thank you. But for the most part, I want to just see it through because it's a Sonic game. Sonic, I've grown up with Sonic, and this is just one of those games that I feel like I kind of didn't even intentionally, like, skip out on. You know, I accidentally skipped out on it. Mostly because I don't know, by the time I got around to Sonic Colors, there were other Sonic games that I wanted to play first, and then just other games in general that I wanted to play. And I'm pretty sure that that was during the era when I got into PS3 stuff. So that may also be part of the cause. Couldn't tell you. I'm not for certain. But either way, we're going to see it through this time. So, we're going to break it down very simply with this halfway mark here. Like, as you saw, the title is The Journey So Far, which is just me talking about what I like so far and what I don't like so far. It's literally that simple. So, we're going to break it down halfway. Let's talk about what I liked about Sonic Colors Ultimate so far and what I dislike about Sonic Colors Ultimate so far. Or things that kind of bugged me or irked me, or just things that didn't sit right with me 100% just yet. So, let's talk about it. So far, I can definitely tell right from the get-go, as soon as you turn on the game, as soon as you boot it up, that sucker looks beautiful design-wise. Like, graphically, it's absolutely improved. You can see that, especially, I'm playing it on the PS5, so thank God, because those load times, that's something I didn't even write here, but I have to mention that those load times are, muy caliente, baby, muy caliente. Alright, I want to let y'all know, if y'all are playing it on the Switch, good luck to you. If y'all are still playing it on the Wii because you'd rather not get the remaster, good luck to you, Chief. With those Wii controls, I ain't having it, bro. I ain't having it, alright? But graphically in the gameplay, you could definitely tell that it's absolutely improved. The backgrounds and everything look very pretty. The game is just very easy on the eyes for the most part, and I really enjoy that. I'm really glad that they were able to make it look good, alright? I have no complaints in that department of the graphics. We're gonna get back to that, okay? The next step is the music, alright? I don't know if y'all remember, but they did mention that there was gonna be a lot of remixed music in this game, and so far, I have absolutely no complaints, ever. Like I always say, you're gonna hear me say this all the time. When it comes to Sonic, no matter how you feel about the games, or the series as a whole, the music is always banging. Baby, it's always on top of its game, my boy. The music is always hitting, and they did it right. Okay, even in this remaster, they remixed a lot of tracks. Okay, and I can recognize that. I fully understand that, and they're doing it. I have no complaints about the remixes. Me personally, I like them a lot. Say what you will, but I enjoy the remixes so far. Hell, you know what? Let's get crazy about it. The opening alone had a remix. I completely forgot about that. I knew it was gonna have a remix, but I didn't know what it sounded like. I completely avoided it up until this point. And I heard it for the first time just last night, and my God, almost had me in tears. Okay, it was almost like it was almost like a greeting. It was almost like, hey, welcome back. We got some new stuff for you though. But enjoy yourself. Kick back and enjoy this little show that we've previewed for you before you enter the game fully. And it gave the perfect vibe. I loved it. All right. Like, obviously they just reused the same exact animation for the intro, which is totally fine. That was one of the best Sonic intros ever. Okay, that easily Sonic Colors has one of the best Sonic intros to a game to this date, and you know, the music really capitalized on that. You could see it was a little like more, it went a little bit harder than the original song, obviously, so it's a little weird. However, I enjoyed it so much that it kind of paved its way into place for me. So, just saying, music ain't nothing to worry about, big dog. Nothing to worry about. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Next up, I want to talk about the level design. It's very fun, okay? Now, again, this is a game from 2010, so it's weird. This game did a lot more focusing on the platforming aspect of Sonic, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, a lot of Sonic games and fan games and things like that, they always forget that Sonic is and can be part platformer, and it's okay to capitalize on that sometimes. Okay, it shouldn't be a completely forgotten aspect, and thankfully, Sonic Colors did not do that. They made sure you remembered, hey, this is also a platformer. Okay, whether you want to agree to that or not, it is. It's an action platformer, whatever other genre you want to put Sonic in. That's just kind of how it works. That's how it's always been, and this game absolutely capitalized on that, going from its 2D to 3D situations and things like that. So, I'm with it. It usually tends to focus on it when it's in 2D, I've noticed. It's mostly in 2D that most games for Sonic usually focus on the platforming aspect. But this one, absolutely. Like, specifically in one level, there was like a very hard red coin to reach. And I'm like, all right, I got to use my skills. Let's see if I can get this. And it was in between spikes. And it was a little hard to reach, but I dove in there, I snagged it, and dove back out without taking any damage until I got hit by the enemy below. That pissed me off, but for the most part, I still managed to make it through. So, all I'm just saying is, they really focus on that platforming aspect, and I respect that. I'm totally with it, and it makes the level designs pretty fun for the most part. There's so many different, like, unique things to do, and enemies to bounce off of, and there's even different paths and everything. Especially if you pay attention. There's so many different platforms and areas and things that you could just take, and pathways, I'm sorry, that's the word I was looking for. There's so many different paths that you could take that it's nice. It's nice. I like it a lot. And so, it makes for very fun level design. It's always jam-packed with different things, and I'm with it. I'm with the shits. So, moving along here. Speaking of things, I'm not sure whether or not this one was in the original game. I don't remember. And I didn't bother to check because it doesn't really matter anymore because we're not playing that version anymore. We got this current version. And the Metal Sonic challenges are really dope. It gives me the similar vibes of Sonic Generations, where you would do the doppelganger races and you would just do everything in your power. Every tidbit of knowledge that you have about the level, you're utilizing that now. All of a sudden, you know the level like the back of your hand, and you know exactly how not to die. Funny enough, for me, it was on one of the harder levels in the game. So, or at least for me so far, like, it was a level that I struggled with a lot. But as soon as we got into that doppelganger race, I was like, oh, hell no. I know this level now. So, I called it a doppelganger race because I'm pretty sure that's what it was based on. I'm pretty sure these Metal Sonic versus things is exactly what inspired the doppelganger races for Sonic Generations. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe vice versa, because again, I don't know if this Metal Sonic situation was in the original games. If it was, awesome. If not, dope. They utilized it perfectly here. Either way, they're fun, and I've only done one so far at this point in time, but I had fun with it, and I'm definitely going out of my way to get the other ones if I can. I think they're fun. So, yeah, those are dope and very worthy challenges to really test your knowledge of the levels and really get you to get a better handle on the mechanics, so that when you are racing Sonic or Metal Sonic next time, you're like, all right, I know how to get past this level because I've played it before, and it's very interesting. Makes for a very interesting situation. Okay. Now, obviously, the mechanics for the abilities for the aliens, I forgot what is their race called? I don't know. The aliens, the mechanic for using their abilities is it's beautiful. It's just as beautiful as I remember. All right. There's so many different unique abilities, and they're all a ton of fun. So far, of the ones that I've used, my favorite one absolutely has to be the one that turns you into a gluttonous, like, shadow monster that chews up everything in its path and gets bigger and faster. And it's so dope. Like, it's such an awesome mechanic, you know? And it's nice to have a power other than just, oh, boost, speed up, go, you know? It's refreshing. Like, there's other unique ways to get through these levels and get the collectibles other than knowing the level and just going fast. It's very refreshing to know, like, hey, if I have this ability here, when I come back, I can utilize this ability and I can get this ring, or this red coin or red ring or whatever you want to call them. I think it's called red rings? I don't know. It's nice. It's very nice, and I really love the abilities. They're a lot of fun. Every single one of them. Some of them are a little more weirder than others, and that's fine. You just have to learn how to use them properly, and then it turns out to be a lot of fun. Some of them have a little bit of a learning curve, but you know, what game shouldn't have some kind of a learning curve for you to really enjoy it? You know, once you get past that, you're going in, and that's fun. I love that. All right. Next up, the additions of cosmetics. Let me tell you something right now, my boy. The cosmetics are dope. Love that they added that. They had no reason to. Most remasters don't even bother with something like this, but they said, let's throw in something a little bit extra, okay? And so, you know, if you got the early access version, if you got the pre-order, you got a ton of equipment. You got a ton of different, like, movie Sonic things, like the shoes, the accessory that makes it look like when you're running, or just in general, you have that lightning stuff in Sonic's hair. You know, you have the boost from the movie, from the live action movie, to be clear. It's dope. It's super dope. It's super dope. And then you have the option to change your shoes and your gloves. Now, me personally, I think the glove changes look kind of ugly. I'm not a huge fan of the glove changes, but the shoe game do be fire. Shoe game do be fire with it. So I'm down with it. I'm down with the sickness. And I love that even though it's a completely unnecessary mechanic, it makes for something worth coming back for. If somebody's a collector, I'm not a completionist like that myself, not a heavy one, but I can definitely see myself coming back to collect a couple more of those, that new currency that's specifically for these cosmetics. Okay, there's a specific currency that you have to collect, and it's not very hard to obtain at all. You just got to pay attention. Sometimes they're in your face, sometimes they're a little bit out of the way, but you end up collecting a lot either way, and it turns out pretty worth it. But these cosmetics can get very expensive, so make sure you collect a lot. But personally, love it. I'm with it. I will never change the gloves ever again, because honestly, the gloves look kind of ridiculous when they're colored like that. That looks insane on Sonic, but the shoe game do be heat. Shoe game do be heat. And so the last thing is just something that I kind of recalled, is just simply the fact that this was, I believe, Roger Craig Smith's first big debut as Sonic back in the day. Because before this, we had Jason Griffith. Or at least before the original Sonic Colors, we had Jason Griffith. His last role being, I believe, one of the storybook games. I could be wrong about that. Please correct me if I am. But either way, I grew up on Jason Griffith for a while, and so you know, hearing Roger Craig Smith, I was like, oh boy. At first, I was like, man, I don't know about that one, Chief. But hearing him again, you know, for the first time, his first real role as Sonic, I'm like, yeah, he's come a long way, and he did very good to start off. He was a very strong start, and he's really come into the role since then. And you know, I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's very up in the air right now whether or not he's keeping his role as Sonic the Hedgehog for good, because he did tweet something recently saying that he was, and then it got deleted, or he deleted it. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe he tweeted it out too early, because, you know, he did revise his role for something Sonic related recently, but we're not sure whether or not this is going to carry on over to the next Sonic game that's coming out in 2022, most likely late 2022. We have no idea what that's looking like. But for his debut as Sonic, which I believe this is, again, correct me if I'm wrong, he did an amazing job. He's doing a good job so far, and I like the conversation. Like, he's just he carries the essence of Sonic now, and that definitely showed right from the get-go, and I'm with it. I'm really happy that they hired this man, and whoever comes after him, it's gonna be some tough shoes to fill, but you know, hopefully they can do it. You know, they just gotta have that love and care like Roger Craig Smith did going after Jason Griffith. You know, after coming after Jason Griffith, a lot of people thought there's nobody that can replace him. There's no way we could have another Sonic like Jason Griffith. It's impossible. And then we got Roger Craig Smith, and everybody's like, damn, how are they gonna top him next? Like, it's crazy, because Sonic's gonna be around for a long time. Voice actors come and go. That's just how it happens. And so far, from what I'm remembering and hearing here, he did a bang-up job, and I really appreciate what he did for Sonic Colors. So that's just about does it for all the things that I like so far. Let's start going into the things that I dislike. Okay, so going back to the gameplay, now I did say that for the most part, I really do appreciate that it focuses on its platformer counterpart. I really do enjoy that. It opens up a lot of different, you know, situations and things. However, I have been playing a lot of different Sonic games lately that focus on the platforming aspect as well as the speed aspect, okay? And I appreciate the platforming, and I believe that it's done well. But I'll be completely honest, more often than not, I feel like I'm getting stopped, okay? And this is just from, not even from the remaster perspective, I've recognized this as just a thing from Sonic Colors, is that I feel like I'm stopped from running how I want to due to a force in slowdown due to the stage's design, okay? Due to the level's design, it's focused more on platforming solely. And it can get a little frustrating sometimes because you're just like, oh, I don't want to have to wait for this platform to show up. I'm trying to run, bro. I'm trying to go as fast as I can through this level and see how well I can do. You know, trying to find different platforms on the fly and just run, you know? And, you know, when there are running sections where they expect you to go fast, they're good. They're awesome. They're great. I love them. However, more often than not, I'm stopped super hard because they expect you to use more of the abilities of the aliens than they are expecting you to use Sonic's speed. So, you know, thankfully they do have the speed boost, which makes it feel like you are still able to go fast whenever you want and things like that when you need to, but more often than not, you're not using that because you're trying to find a good place to utilize the alien's ability, and you end up stopped because there's just so many different areas that you can look at that you don't know which way to go next, and sometimes it can be a little frustrating. Okay, again, this is me coming from, I recently came from not only Pokemon, wow, not only from Sonic Generations, but Sonic Omens. Both games that focus more so on speed than anything. Now, Sonic Omens, that one focused it had a balance, but it went too far with each. All right, it took it off the walls, and while I do appreciate it, it took it off the walls with both the speed and the platforming sometimes. But again, it's a fan game that it did its best, and I very much appreciate it. It did a very good job, and I love it to death. And then there's Sonic Generations, which was hyper. See, here's the thing. It had a good balance because it was able to focus on platforming for classic Sonic and speed for modern Sonic. It did a great job. And so coming to Sonic Colors, it feels like it went back to just classic Sonic with modern Sonic abilities. Okay? So, which is why it feels like it's a kind of a frustrating slowdown at times. And it's like, damn, I want to go fast more often, but more often than not, I got to pay attention to where I'm going right now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep falling off or keep getting pushed off or keep dying, because I'm not meant to go fast here right now. I'm meant to jump from platform to platform. And I'll be honest here, Sonic's controls are a little bit more slippery than they were before. He doesn't feel as contained and as you know, quick to stop or as quick to go or respond to the inputs that I'm putting in for him. And so that definitely affects it, especially when it's about platforming, okay? When it comes to homing attacks, it's great, but for the most part, his controls don't feel as smooth as they do in more current Sonic games. And so that really can affect the level design too, because you got to base that around, you know, if he's really going to feel slippery like this, maybe you can accustom to that. But not much you can do. So it is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to stop playing the game. It doesn't make it crazy bad or anything. I'm just saying I have noticed that, you know, playing a Sonic game where I want to be as fast as possible, go just gun through and learn the levels and just go fast so I can beat it as fast as possible and get a good score. This one is definitely more inherent on platforming. And slowing down does feel frustrating, mostly because I know this is a Sonic game where I don't want to slow down. But that's on me. That's on me. So, we'll see how I feel about that by the end of the game. We'll come back to that. Okay. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I said I was going to come back to this. I believe this is what I said I was going to come back to. But either way, gameplay-wise, graphically, the game has absolutely improved. It looks way better. However, when it comes to the story and the cutscenes, it feels like those were just ported over. You can see that those cutscenes that they have in the game, they're a little bit lower res than the gameplay itself. They're definitely lower res, and it's almost like they ported over, like, you know, 720 version of it, you know, 60 frames. And, you know, that's okay, sure, if you had to, whatever, if you didn't want to bother with that, it is what it is, or maybe you just couldn't because there was something that you didn't want to break, whatever, okay. But it is a little disappointing, I will admit. You know, getting these cosmetics in the game, it would be dope to see your version of Sonic, you know, with the crazy hair or maybe the crazy gloves or shoes actually implemented into the cutscenes like a lot of, you know, games usually do nowadays. Where, you know, when you change equipment, you can see that in the cutscenes, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes it looks better, you know? And I wanted to see that implemented, but unfortunately, these are what there's a term for cutscenes that are already, like, they're pre-made and then they're just put in afterwards, you know? There's a word for that, but I can't think of what it is right now, but it is definitely that. And so, you know, you can't see the cosmetics, and the cutscenes themselves are definitely lower res than the game itself. And it doesn't hurt anything too badly, but it does kind of like, it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because it feels a little lazy. But at the same time, it was nothing, it wasn't that big of a necessary change, so I don't really blame them for not going out of their way to change that. But again, it would have been nice. And now, just digging into the game of Sonic Colors itself for my last two things here. So far, first things first, so far, the boss fights, they've been pretty mid. They don't feel all that exciting. Like, I'm more excited to dash through the levels than I am to get to the bosses. Right now, I feel like I'm kind of dreading the bosses, which is really weird. Like, the one boss where I'm like, I'm running on that, like, invisible, like, road that kind of forms as I run while facing that big, like, gunship or whatever that is. That one was cool. That one felt more in the essence of Sonic. Jesus. But for the most part, the other ones felt like they were just kind of, like, they utilized the proper mechanics and everything like that, but they were just kind of there, you know? The pirate ship one and the what was that? Like, it looked like a Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel, first off, was a joke. It was so easy, it's not even funny. Like, I literally beat that in seconds. And then the pirate one was just, the pirate ship one just kind of got on my nerves because I felt like I should have had invincibility frames in certain situations, and he just kind of bounced on top of me, and it was more annoying than it was, like, exciting, you know? So far, the bosses have been pretty mid, to me personally. I don't really feel any attachment towards the bosses, mostly probably because they feel kind of random and they haven't been introduced at all. They just kind of pop in and things just kind of happen. And so I feel really nothing for these bosses so far. Maybe that'll change going forward. Hopefully the final boss gives me a run for my money. I don't even remember what it is, and I'm not going to look it up because I'm going to play it. That wouldn't make any sense. But so far, bosses have been kind of mid. That one does kind of hurt things so far, but we'll see if things change. And then the last thing on my list here is actually just, you know, remembering the story. Because as far as stories go, I almost forgot that this was part of the era where, or at least I believe that this was the beginning of the era where the story was just a lot less focused. Okay? Like, think about it this way. This is from the Wii era. Okay? And so with the Wii era, we're just coming off, we had just come off, I believe, Sonic Unleashed beforehand, and then we went right into the Storybook series, which was Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. Both of those games in which even you can argue that the gameplay was bad if you want, but you also have to recognize that a lot of us went through those games because we were invested in the story. All right, you wanted to find out what the heck is happening. How the heck is Sonic going to overcome something so insanely powerful? You know, King Arthur, you know, Jin the genie, you know, like how did he overcome something so obviously powerful? And it was very unique for a Sonic story. It was so awesome to do something so different. And then we come to Sonic Colors, where it's just, oh, Eggman's dicking around again. Let's see what he does. And they did it in a more joking manner too. It's just like, oh god, let's see what Eggman's up to. We should probably just go and just check it out, you know? And it's just like, oh, I knew it. He was up to something evil. It's like, no shit, he was up to something evil, Sonic. Like, come on, you know? And so it's cool that they focus. They're doing this whole aspect with the story regarding the aliens and things like that. But for the most part, it's kind of whatever. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's too much like at stake right now, you know, especially because the cutscenes feel so random. Okay, starting when you first start the game off, immediately you're just thrown into a level, no explanation, no story, no background. You're just thrown in, you just go. And that was weird. That was weird. In most Sonic games, like, okay, here's the thing. They learned from that and did it better in Generations, where you start off with classic Sonic. It's almost like you're going through the old school Sonic games again, because that's what they were trying to go for, and they did that amazingly. And then at the end of the level, you're immediately introduced with a cutscene where you're thrown into the story. Like, oh shoot, what is that thing? What's going on? Cool, whatever. In this situation, you're just thrown into a level, and then it's just like, oh yeah, Eggman's got this crazy amusement park going on. We should probably stop him though, because this is definitely evil. Oh yeah, this is definitely evil. No shit, it's evil. Come on, we know. But like, and then like afterwards, it tells you how they got there or why they got there. But it's almost like Eggman invited them up, and it was like, okay, typical bad guy bullshit. Like he pretty much planted the seed of his own demise by inviting his arch nemesis up there to take on everything that he's created. Like, of course he's gonna overcome it, Eggman. It's like, all right. So from what I remember personally, I didn't remember the game or the story being this linear and weak. Okay, and I don't know, it's fun. It's a fun story, but it's nothing crazy, you know? It's nothing that makes me like, God, I wonder what's gonna happen next. It's just like, no, I'm here for the levels. The levels are fun, and so I do the levels, and then a cutscene happens, and then maybe a boss happens. It's like, all right, whatever. Back to the gameplay. It's like, I'm not feeling too much attachment to the story right now, and that really sucks, because that is one of the biggest things that could definitely harm this game for me. And so, you know, it's got its thing going on where Eggman's kidnapping the aliens, but nah, what's new? You know, he kidnapped the animals, Sonic saves the animals. It's very reminiscent of OG Sonic, but yeah, more boring. So we'll see if that harms the gameplay. Maybe, or I'm sorry, the game entirely. We've got a lot more. I've got a lot more of the game to play right now, so we'll see how things play out. But anyway, that just about does it for all of my negatives on the game so far. Overall, so far, I'm very glad that they remastered the game. I will say it like that. If there's any of the Sonic games that deserved it that could have potentially been remastered, Colors was definitely up there with one of them. Obviously, there are others that I would prefer to have been remastered, but Sonic Colors is not a bad start. And hopefully, with Sonic Colors, if it does have some solid success, they look at that and are like, all right, we do have this next Sonic game in development. Maybe we can grab a team that can develop, you know, something, another port, and, you know, focus on that while we do this. Just saying. Y'all could definitely have a Pokemon Ilka Game Freak situation where you have one team working on remasters, another team working on the next big thing. Just saying. Something to keep in mind. So, whatever the case may be, I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to get back to the game soon, but I want to hear what you guys think about Sonic Colors Ultimate so far. Are you guys enjoying the game? Do you think it's super worthy of a remaster and it's doing its job? Or are you suffering because you bought it on Switch and it can't handle it? Or maybe you have other opinions. I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section below, because you always know that I'm down there with you guys. But with that, I'm going to skedaddle on out because it do seem to be that time. I want to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm out, y'all. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!